President Trump's $1.8 billion fund is dead.
Oh my God, dead? I feel like I just saw that fund last week and it seemed totally fine. I mean, sure, it was wildly corrupt and a complete slap in the face to our nation's democracy, but not dead. Gosh, I just hope Donald Trump is able to find some bright spot amongst all this sadness.
But his nomination of AG Todd Blanche is still very much alive.
Yeah, that'll probably do. So how is this nomination so suddenly full of life?
Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, two Republican holdouts, back on board with Blanche. That agreement coming after Blanche formally rescinded the so-called anti-weaponization fund and clarified additional language that would have shielded Trump and his family from further IRS audits.
Well, good for them. You know, it is about time we got some Republicans with spines. I mean, sure, McConnell is tough as nails, probably just taking a break from his usual weightlifting regimen right now, but these two are up on Capitol Hill doing God's work, finally putting to bed this idea that these folks will ever get compensated with our tax dollars.
Right now, this deal still allows for the Department of Justice to compensate January 6 rioters and others of the political allies of the president who have alleged in some form or fashion that the Justice Department was weaponized against them. Nothing in this prevents that.
I'm sorry, what's that? It sounds like you're saying that these two senators, the ones that I previously hailed as doing God's work, the ones who held up Todd Blanche's nomination because they just didn't want to see cop beaters get a payout, have now given the go-ahead for cop beaters to get a payout. What was the point of that whole charade? That's like demonizing the trans community while back home your husband is giving cross-dressing a go, or protesting against a weaponized DOJ until it's weaponized against people you hate, or being a party that hates gay people while overloading Grindr's servers at your national convention. But luckily, the GOP doesn't know anything about that. But let's hear from John Cornyn on why this was all worth it.
I think Todd Blanche did what we asked him to do. It binds not only him, but also the Department of Justice as a whole. And so I think that satisfies my demands that we basically got a stake driven through the heart of the weaponization fund. That was $1.8 billion.
Sure, you basically did. But if I may carry through with your vampire metaphor, I believe what you did was less a stake through the heart and more of a thumbtack through the earlobe. And the lack of power in this signed document from Todd Blanche is something both guys have already acknowledged. Mr. Cornyn, speaking to reporters on Monday, pushed back, saying, quote, "There's literally nothing we could do other than have the president change the settlement agreement to make them legally binding." And Tillis added, "Now, could the president completely reverse this and create a new fund?" He said. He could, and then he can answer to the American people. And if all that is true, then why the fuck are you voting to confirm an attorney general for a president who they outwardly presume will engage in corruption down the road? Unless Trump has put all that behind him?
But even as he offered these assurances, President Trump, just hours before he put that out, was still insisting that those who attacked the Capitol deserve to be compensated with taxpayer money, saying, quote, "This would be a reimbursement for pain that they suffered. A lot of people like it."
So many people. Saying a lot of people like it is kind of like saying a lot of people are inclined to stroke their seatmate while viewing a Broadway musical. But I'd say it's a pretty limited bunch. Besides his unwinnable campaign to get the Save America Act passed, there has been no bigger mission for Donald Trump than getting compensation for insurrectionists and withholding taxes he legally owes to the IRS. So with his nominee for Attorney General now offering up this deal to get himself confirmed, you know Trump has been knee-deep in the weeds on getting this whole thing done.
He's not on Todd Blanche.
I didn't look at it. All I know is that Todd Blanche is great. He's going to do a great job. Everybody knows it. And I understand there's been a sign-off. But I don't know what they agreed.
Yup. No clue. See, Trump doesn't even know about what's going on with his money. No audit, yes audit. Frankly, he's not too sure what that word even means. He's just a simple man who does what he's told, and if he happens to acquire $2 billion along the way, well, that's just the cherry on top of this whole leading the country thing. When it comes to his cash, Donald Trump knows exactly what he's doing at all times, and that's what makes statements like this from the media so hard to hear.
Again, the hope is that this kind of puts the death knell in the weaponization fund once and for all.
There is no such thing as once and for all when it comes to Trump. There is no law, no ruling, no judgment by a court that will ever force Trump to drop any single issue. Even when his own people have declared he was wrong, he will not back down.
And I was disappointed with Jeanine Pirro. Really disappointed. disappointed with Janine Beer. She folded like an umbrella. We have photographs or tapes, like moving cameras, right? We have them where people are on the side cutting it with a box knife.
Moving cameras, you say? Why, now that's just aces. Up till now, it seemed like this one might have a screw loose. Just a belly-aching lunkhead jabbering on about a crew with a good-for-nothing half-wits waging flim-flam on Sweet Liberty's bathtub with a glossy pair of Arkansas toothpicks, but no Kodaks to back it up. But now with talkies in the mix, why, this handsome devil has me feeling right as rain. The reality is, there seems to be no bigger pair of suckers on Capitol Hill right now than Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis. Last week, these two made a big show of how they would not be pushed around by Trump and wouldn't budge an inch on Todd Blanche's nomination without a guarantee that Trump's payout pot for punks, as Tillis put it, completely went away. They set the terms of all their meetings with Blanche, canceled those meetings when Blanche didn't adhere to those terms, and even started rocking those "Don't fuck with us" sunglasses inside the halls of Congress just to really hammer the point home. And yet, now, they've given the green light on Blanche's confirmation after getting what exactly? A piece of paper that says Trump and his administration can still create a payout pot for punks? They'll just have to do some extra paperwork? If I am a lowly YouTuber and can still see how problematic this whole thing is, surely the man who studied enough law he got to wear one of those coveted law robes should be able to see how littered with holes this promise is. Which begs the question, why go through all that trouble? Was all that drama just so you two could seem like independent voices on your way out the door? Because frankly, making a stink about standing on principle and then not standing on principle makes you look like even bigger pussies. If you had simply been like every other spineless member of the GOP and given a quick thumbs up to Blanche, no one would have even noticed. But no, you had to put on a show. And it's worth noting that after all the hemming and hawing, Todd Blanche is still a terrible candidate for Attorney General. Besides being Donald Trump's former personal attorney, as acting AG he targeted journalists, he's been deemed unfit to serve by the New York City Bar Association, and he continues to withhold more than 3 million files in the Epstein files.